This is how you would view an onion cell under a microscope. So I have my onion here, and the reason why we use an onion is, like Shrek says, it's made of layers and lots of layers. So if I just move all this out the way here and take off this layer here, I can get a very thin, hopefully you can see that, very thin layer of cells, which means then I can focus it a little bit better. So that is some of the tissue from the onion, and as long as I don't screw it up too much, then it will be nice and thin, so we'll be able to see the cells under this microscope. So what I'm going to use for this is this piece of glass here. This is a slide, and this is where we put the specimen. In this case, the specimen is this very thin piece of onion. So there's my onion. I'm going to put it onto the slide there. Okay, just flatten it down a little bit. You'll come to know this one a little bit more later on, but this is iodine. Okay, and this stains starch. Now the onion photosynthesizes and it makes glucose, and then it can store it as starch. So I can use this stain here, this iodine, to then stain the cells and any starch that's in that cell. Now I only need 1 or 2 drops. Okay, lots of students put too many drops on, and then it makes a right mess. The technicians don't like you. Okay, so 1 or 2 drops of iodine, and then we're going to use this very thin layer of glass. Okay, you see these here? These are cover slips. So this is a thin piece of glass called a cover slip, which then goes on top of your specimen. All right, and that is now ready to use under your microscope. So here is my microscope. Okay, it's got a light on underneath, as long as the electricity is working. Oh, there, it did come on there. It's got a light on underneath, and it's got this eyepiece, which is right at the very top here. Just excuse me. So this is the eyepiece. This is where you're going to look down here, and if you look very closely here, it's got, once my camera decides it's going to focus, it's got some numbers here. So it says WF and then times, or 10 times. So this eyepiece is actually going to magnify the specimen 10 times. And then underneath, which is where all the good stuff happens, okay, you've got these lenses here. These are objective lenses. Now this small one here says there's a 4 there, so that times it by 4 times. This yellow one here you can't quite see, but it says times 10. And then you've got this big massive one here, which times it by 40. So as I look down the eyepiece, which is going to times it by 10, and if I look down this one, which only times it by 4, actually the overall magnification is 10 times 4, which would be then 40. Okay, so that's how you use this microscope. On here are your focusing knobs here, and this here is the stage. This is where you're going to put your specimen, and in this case it is our onion. So you clip it on here with your trays onto your tray, onto your stage, and then you clip on these, and then you are ready to use the microscope. The first thing to do is always start on the lowest magnification. So I'm going to look down this eyepiece and use this times 4, because this will make it much easier to focus. And I'm going to look and try and focus this using these here. Now look what happens. All this does is it moves it closer and further away. And all you need to do then is just look down here and get it so it is roundabout focused. Once you have focused it, you can then move this onto the times 10. Okay, and you can still use this one here to focus as long as you're very careful. And that is now focused. And then if you want to go really close, so this would be 400 times, because remember, I've got an eyepiece which is times 10, and then times 40, so that's 10 times 40, which is 400 magnification. All right, I'm only going to be able to see a couple of cells here. All right, look at how close that is now as well. All right, now I'm not going to touch this one, this focusing node. I'm going to use this one, which is the fine focus, and that just moves it ever so slightly Okay, and then you can see, I can probably see about 3 cells down here, and that's all I'm going to get to see. That is how you use a microscope. The key bits on here is that you always start with this small magnification. All right, make sure you stain your specimen so you can see it, and then put it into your microscope and focus. And then if you want to change the magnification and zoom closer, then you just move the objective lenses round. Well done.